I'm sure there'll be no controversy with this movie whatsoever. What's up, Ghostbusters fans? Welcome back to the channel. I am DL, back talking about some more Ghostbusters. I'm talking about every Ghostbusters movie, including Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is going to be in theaters this weekend as of this recording. I've already talked about the original two Ghostbusters movies. If you guys haven't seen those reviews, I'll leave a link in the description below to the playlist, and it'll take you right to those videos. But this is the final stop to Afterlife. Today we will be talking about Ghostbusters. This is the reboot to the original movie that came out in 2016. Alright, so I'm going to be real with you guys. I was not looking forward to talking about this movie. Not so much because of the quality of the film, but because of the utter discourse and, just hatred from the fandom regarding this movie. Personally, I feel like it's a little too much. And I know there's been a lot of controversy with this film behind the scenes regarding the directors and the actors or whatever. Just a whole bunch of stuff about this movie being woke, or like it has an agenda, or it's an insult to the original movie. So it's like you can't win on either side. If you say anything positive about this movie, apparently you are a disgrace to the Ghostbusters fandom. You're not a real Ghostbusters fan. But if you say anything negative about this movie, apparently you are sexist and misogynist. So, it's just ridiculous in my opinion. But I'm going to do what I always do best. Give it to you straight. I'm going to tell you how I genuinely feel about the movie. How did the movie make me feel? What are my honest opinions on the movie? I'm not just going to say stuff to be popular. I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to be real, and that's how I always want to be. So I just want to put that out there before I start talking about this film. So if you came to this review expecting me to trash it or give it high praise, you might want to go to a different video, because that's not what this is. Okay, now that I got that out of my system, I didn't want this movie. I didn't want it. The original was just so good. I just didn't feel like it was necessary for them to do a reboot to this. And after Ghostbusters 2, I was just, my passion for the franchise kind of died down. I know there's a lot of people that enjoy Ghostbusters 2, but I felt it was a major decline in quality compared to the first film. So I didn't really have a need for us to revisit this again. And then I know a lot of people were wanting a third movie with the original characters, and I don't think that's a good idea, especially around the time that people were demanding it. Like, the actors were way past their prime, and then the passing of Harold Ramis, so I felt like that was going to be another Kingdom of the Crystal Skull situation or Terminator Dark Fate. So I didn't think that would end really well. So I didn't want a third movie. Like, the closest we'll get to a sequel with the original cast. I know a lot of people brought this up that play the video game, because I guess that's the closest thing story-wise that that has the original characters being the main focus, and it's a continuation of the first two. Which, I see what they're saying. I did play the game, and it's pretty good. I recommend you guys play it if you guys haven't already. So when they announced this reboot, they got Paul Feig to direct it, and I was like, why? Paul Feig, the director of Bridesmaids? Like, that, I don't understand that. Granted, Ivan Reitman came from, comedic films, so I guess it's not out of the realm of impossibility to get another comedic director, but I just personally feel like his style wouldn't really fit with the Ghostbusters movie, because I feel like it would be too comedic. There has to be a balance between the comedy and the scares and stuff like that. So I was worried about that. And then the cast they got for this movie, I was not really digging that either. Because to be honest, I'm not really a fan of Melissa McCarthy, Leslie Jones, or Kristen Wiig. I like Kate McKinnon. I think she's pretty funny, but like I don't know. I just did not see them in a Ghostbusters film. I couldn't see them becoming Ghostbusters. And then, of course, we got to address the elephant in the room that they race swapped the Ghostbusters. It's all women now, and a lot of people are upset about that. And I'm up here like, why? Like, don't you guys want to see female Ghostbusters? Like, that's something I wanted to see. Like I said, I would have loved to see Dana become a new Ghostbuster in the second movie, but that didn't happen. And of course, you have the TV show like Extreme Ghostbusters. There was a girl on the team, so it's like I don't understand why people were so mad about this. But I guess where I can see where they're coming from is like I would have liked if there was a mixture of guys and girls on the team. I think it would have felt a little bit more natural. So where there, I can kind of see where people felt like there was an agenda, just female empowerment. There was a whole thing about that, back then. So I guess I saw what they're coming from, but I wasn't as upset about it. I was more worried about who they casted as the Ghostbusters. How were they going to play in the movie? So the marketing for this film was really bad. Actually, it was very confusing. Like, I mean, this is a reboot, but the marketing made it seem like it was kind of a continuation of the originals, or it was homaging the originals too much. But then it goes out this way to show this a reboot. It just did not work. And then also the jokes in the trailers, most of them fell flat. And of course there was a lot of hatred online when this trailer came out. It got so many dislikes, so it was not off to a great start, to say the least. So when this movie came out, there was a lot of hate for this movie. Like, I mean, I think it got an okay rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's in the 60s or the 70s. But whenever you talk to the Ghostbusters fandom about this movie, a lot of people hated it. A lot of people just like shitted on this movie. They didn't want to acknowledge its existence. They said it was a disgrace to the original films. It was an insult. But I'll be real. I remember seeing this in the theater and I went, really, guys? It's not that horrible. Me personally, I just never understood the hatred for this film, because the movie just ended up being so meh. It's a mediocre adaptation of the original. It's an average film at best. There's an equal amount of things that I like about this movie, and there's an equal amount of things that I don't like. I'm gonna be honest, but it's just, this movie is just so bland. It's just hard for me to hate this, So I will say up front, the cast for this movie actually surprised me. They worked a lot better than I thought they were going to. I guess we can go down the list. We could start with Melissa McCarthy, who played Abby in the film. I thought she was pretty solid. Melissa wasn't doing her usual loudmouth slapstick crap in this movie. She actually felt more grounded and serious, I mean, of course she had her silly, quirky moments here and there, but it was really toned down compared to what she usually does. And I kind of bought her talking all the science jibber jabber, and I thought that worked. So she did surprise me. I thought she was pretty solid. Same thing I could say for Leslie Jones as Patty. Leslie Jones, I'm not really a fan of outside of Saturday Night Live, and even her Saturday Night Live sketches, they're okay. And from the marketing, it made it seem like she was just going to be the black stereotype, and that's it. But surprisingly enough, I thought she was pretty good. Like, she actually had like a likable personality, and of course she's playing the street savvy of the group. And I thought she worked really well as that. And she did have some pretty funny moments as well. But who I will say is the MVP of this movie is Kate McKinnon as Holtzman. She was great. She was hilarious. She was practically playing a live action cartoon. There's some stuff she does in the movie, and there's some dialogue that she says that does feel random, but she makes it funny in this movie. Like, she was the most interesting out of the group. And once again, she also talks the science jibber jabber, and I buy it coming from her. And even half the stuff she says may be nonsense. Like, I was buying it. She was great. She has some of the best moments in the movie for me. And then we get to Kristen Wiig as Erin Gilbert. She was okay. She's obviously the weakest character of the four. Like, I mean, she wasn't bad, but like, she was just really playing that really awkward, dorky college professor, and I felt like it was just too much. Like, there was a lot of moments where she was just acting so awkward and just giving her such weird things to say. Like, it felt really cringe. Now, I'm a dork. I'm a nerd. And even I was cringing at the stuff she was doing in this movie. I just felt like it was just a little too much coming from her. But, I thought she was fine for the most part. Whenever she's working off of the other Ghostbusters, she was a lot better. What I do respect about this movie is that they didn't completely make the ladies like a complete reincarnation of the original cast. They didn't feel like complete retreads of the original characters. I really appreciated that. Specifically with Kate McKinnon and Kristen Wiig. Even though Kristen Wiig stuff I thought could have been better, they actually felt like original characters. It felt like the actresses actually made the roles their own. I guess you could make an argument with Leslie Jones and Melissa McCarthy, where Leslie Jones felt like an exaggerated version of Winston, and then Melissa McCarthy felt like a mixture of Ray and Egon, except not as awkward as Egon gives it. But she does the science jibber jabber, but she also is like, you feel like she's the glue of the team like Ray was. But I thought that was a good dynamic. I thought that was interesting to keep it a little bit more fresh. But yeah, I thought the chemistry between all four of the ladies was really, really good. I really bought them as friends and as teammates, and they worked off each other really well, whether it's them coming off of an action set piece or even some of the comedic beats. I thought worked really well with them. Okay, now let's talk about Chris Hemsworth as Kevin. So I know a lot of people were saying that he's the best part of the movie and he's hilarious. No, he's not. I personally didn't like Chris Hemsworth in this movie. He was pretty much playing a live action cartoon, but not in a good way like Kate McKinnon was. Like, he was just so dumb. Like, I felt like most of the dialogue and his delivery in the movie, it felt improv. And I'm sure a lot of people can argue that all the characters in the movie felt like their stuff was improv, but his, I felt the most. Like, it just didn't work for me. Whoever's telling Chris Hemsworth that he's funny, can you please stop? Like, I'm just not digging Chris Hemsworth as a comedic actor, and I know that's something that he wants to do, but like, I don't know whether it's like the writing that they give to him, or like Chris Hemsworth's just doing whatever he wants. But like, just for me personally, I just not liking it. Like, I didn't like what he did with Thor post Ragnarok. I didn't like what he did in Men in Black International. Didn't like him in Vacation. So the comedic stuff, in my opinion, it's not working for you, Chris. Like, just try something else. Like, there's just too many just random stuff he be doing. Like, he has glasses without lens in them, or when he answering the phone for the Ghostbusters because he's the secretary for this movie, like he's acting dumb there, or when they had the interview with him and he's just doing random shit. Just to me, it just wasn't really that funny to me.
Okay, so what do you think of that? Oh. Yeah, you do see how this might make us look bad, right?
Is it the boobs you don't like? Because I can make them bigger.
God, no. Poor guy.
God, that's loud, huh?
It's loud. It's loud.
I don't know. I may be in the minority on that, but this is how I feel. Which brings me to one of my major issues that I have with this movie, and that is the dialogue and the humor. Half the dialogue in this movie, and just scenes in general, felt like Saturday Night Live sketches. Like, there's a lot of improving and random scenes that are in this movie that doesn't really make any logical sense. It feels like it's there just so the audience could laugh, not so much that it's natural to the characters or the story being told. And I guess this is not really a surprise given who's directing the movie and who's starring in it, but I don't know, I just felt like it was too much. There's one too many awkward exchanges with characters. There's one too many like random scenes of improv going on. Like, I don't know, it was just too much. I'll admit that. But I'm not gonna lie and say that there was also a good amount of scenes and exchanges between characters that I thought was legit funny. I was laughing at a few moments. With the main four, it's like they're just naturally comedic. At what they do. It's like even though they're given weird writing to work off of, like they make it work somehow. Well, for the most part, there's still some stuff that's like, that's kind of cringe. But like, even when they're given some really weird stuff to do, it's like they try to make it funny the best way they can. And half the stuff came around for me personally. I know it doesn't work for everyone, but that's just how I felt. I didn't think the humor was horrible. Now let's talk about the villain, Rowan. Yeah, he's not a good villain. He's very bland. Like his motivation is just so stereotypical. His personality is not that great either. But I guess what really saves it for me, where I don't think he's completely awful, is I guess the overall his the effects that they put on him. I guess like his overall plan with I guess he found like some sort of barrier to a ghost realm, and there's an army of ghosts that he's commanding to take over the city. Like I thought that was interesting for the most part, and then when he kills himself and then he possesses people and stuff like that, and he becomes like ghost creatures and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool to watch. So even though like him as a villain is very one dimensional, at least there was some creative stuff they've done with him. Like for example, even though this is another kaiju monster in a Ghostbusters film, like they've been doing this for all the movies, I did think it was kind of meta and pretty cool that he transformed himself into a monster version of the Ghostbusters logo. I thought that was pretty creative. And then yeah, let's talk about the ghost in this movie. I thought the ghost effects in this film looked pretty cool. I really liked it a lot. Would I have liked to have seen more practical effects with the ghosts? Of course, I'm always for practical effects, and what they did with the ghost effects in the original movies, they still hold up pretty well. So I would have liked to have seen more practical mixed with the CGI, but I thought what they did with this movie was pretty good. Since it's 2016, they have more, modern technology to make the ghosts look more polished, and they're able to do more. They're not like restricted with movements and stuff like that, and they can do more effects with their abilities and whatever. So, I thought the designs for the ghosts actually looked really, really good. My one nitpick with them though is I felt like the colors for the ghosts felt a little too bright and saturated. Like it was like really bright green and bright blue and purple and stuff like that. It's like I felt like it was just a little too much. I felt like they could have turned down the color just a little bit, because it made it seem like the ghosts were a little too cartoony. Like they felt like effects from a virtual reality ride at a theme park. But that's really my only nitpick with it. I know I liked all the different designs they had for the ghosts, and Slimer came back in this movie, and I thought he looked really, really good. I liked what they did with Slimer in this movie. But yeah, I digged the ghosts in this film. And then also another thing that I appreciated in this movie is the Ghostbusters updated their arsenal of weapons to hunt ghosts. That was one thing that disappointed me in Ghostbusters 2, is that they didn't really upgrade their tech, other than the slime cannon, which I thought was kind of lame. But in this movie, like, they had a lot of cool stuff. Like they have like cannons, they have bombs and stuff like that. They actually have blasters. So I thought it was really, really cool. I like that the Ghostbusters actually had more tech to work off of other than the proton pack, which of course the proton pack is great. I'm not dishing that at all, but I just like that they upgraded their stuff. And I actually did like the look of their tech and the proton pack. I liked their version of their proton pack. I mean, it's not completely like different from the originals, but it had its own unique touches to make it seem like it's their own. Same thing with their uniforms. I also like the orange and white strips that go across their uniforms. That also adds a little touch to their stuff to make them, to differentiate them from the original. And their Ecto-1, I thought it was pretty creative how they got their own car. Patty's, I think, father or uncle it owns a funeral home, and they took like one of the funeral cars and turned that into Ecto-1. And the look of the Ecto-1 looked pretty good. Of course, you can't replace the original Ecto-1, of course, but I thought with their version of the Ecto-1, I thought it looked pretty good. Another thing that I've been wanting to see in the Ghostbusters movie is the Ghostbusters actually fighting ghosts, not just tangling them up with the proton pack and just trapping them. Like actually fighting ghosts with different weapons. That was entertaining to watch. And as I said, like seeing all the different designs of the ghosts fighting against the Ghostbusters, it was just really cool to see. Like I wish this was something that we saw from the original characters in the original movies. This would have been really cool to see, and I'm glad they took advantage of it in this movie. It was entertaining to watch. They're using the proton packs as whips, and they're chucking the ghosts everywhere. Like I thought that was really entertaining. And as I said, when Rowan turns into the white ghost, the ghost logo, it turns into a giant kaiju monster. That was pretty cool. Well, I will say there's like a couple of things in that climax that I thought was a little too goofy, like when Rowan takes over Kevin's body and then he makes the police or whatever do a dance number and stuff like that. That was a little too much. And then I will say in the climax how they actually defeated Rowan when he becomes a kaiju monster. And it's like they created a portal to suck up all the ghosts back into their realm. I didn't like that they used the proton packs and shot Rowan in the nuts to get him back into the portal. That was stupid. That was really unnecessary. I didn't need that. And then the people of New York in this movie, the citizens overall, the mayor and other people like that, they're really dumb. Like they're stupid. Like they're either written to be idiots or assholes. And it's like I just didn't understand that. Outside of the main four that we follow, like everyone is written to be that way. Like why? Just why? I mean, the people were already doing dumb stuff in the original movies, but they just amped it up even more in this film. Like the dialogue and stuff they gave them, it's like it was pretty ridiculous. And then, okay, let's talk about the cameos from the original cast. So I know a lot of people weren't digging the cameos in this movie. I thought they were fine. I thought it was fine. I didn't think they were necessary. Like, it did kind of take me out of the movie a little bit because, thought they were trying really hard to make this movie their own, but they're doing so many homages and references to the original that, you know, it doesn't feel like its own thing some of the time. And like these cameos from the original cast, like I felt was, I mean, even though the cameos weren't bad, it was just a little, it was just shoved in your face a little too much. Especially, you know, the Bill Murray cameo. I know a lot of people were upset about that, you know, one of the ghosts kills him, like throws him out of a window. Like that was a little jarring, but you know, I mean, other than that, I didn't feel like the cameos were like insulting to the characters. They weren't playing the original characters. They were playing different people. So it's like I didn't really see that as like an insult to, you know, the original movies. I know a lot of people saying like, well, if you could get them in this reboot, why couldn't we just get another movie with the original cast? And like I said, I don't think that would work as well as you guys think it would. These actors are way past their prime, and it's like I'm just not interested in seeing a whole movie with them again, with being how old they are. That's why I'm okay with, you know, the possible, you know, small role that they'll have in Afterlife, you know, because they're not the main focus. They're passing the torch to a new generation. So, you know, I just personally just never understood that argument, to be honest. But, you know, I thought the cameos were fine. I thought it was actually pretty cool that they got most of them to come back to do this movie, especially Bill Murray, because, you know, Bill Murray has not been wanting to do a Ghostbusters film for a while, so I was surprised they got him to do this. So yeah, do I think this is a horrible movie? No. Do I think this is a good movie? I guess not, but, you know, I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine. This movie didn't need to exist, absolutely, but, you know, I at least felt some effort put into this. I felt there was a little bit more effort put into this movie than Ghostbusters 2, and I know a lot of people won't agree with me on that, and probably hate that I even said that, but I mean, that's honestly how I feel. I think the humor landed a little bit better for me than in Ghostbusters 2. I think the ghost effects for this movie looked pretty good. I think the scares were better than they were in Ghostbusters 2. I really liked the chemistry between all four actresses. I thought they worked off each other really, really well. I really liked the ghost effects. I really liked the new tech with the Ghostbusters. The humor, half of it didn't work for me, but half of it really, really did work for me. The villain, while he was really bland and his motivation was very stereotypical, the effects and, you know, this overall plan that he had for the movie, I thought was interesting with the ghosts, you know, taking over in the realm and stuff like that. I thought that was creative at least. So yeah, man, that's how I feel. I don't hate Ghostbusters, and you know what? I will say that Ghostbusters 2016 is just okay. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Ghostbusters 2016. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below and let me know. Please be civil in the comments. Please, like, we don't need to be name calling and throwing insults. Like, we're all fans of Ghostbusters, okay? You don't have to agree with me. That's fine. It's just my opinion. You shouldn't be mad that, you know, I have a different opinion than you, okay? If you don't like it, that's fine. If you love it, that's great. If you think you're in the middle like me, that's great too. You know, that's the beauty of fandom, right? Like, we all can have different opinions and have a civil discussion about it. So let's try and have a civil discussion in the comments, please. But yeah, so that covered all the Ghostbusters films up to this point. Now we just gotta wait for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. If you guys enjoyed this review, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Ghostbusters fans, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. And remember, I ain't afraid of no ghosts.